What is up, everybody? I'm NoLucksGiven, and in this video we are going to take a look at an apocalypse game. And apocalypse, especially on the previous patch, thought was really strong because trees are really strong right now, and most of the time when you hit level 6 and get that big apocalypse moment, you get a bunch of trees. You might not get burning trees, but you get ashwood elms, you potentially get echo woods, robin woods, and the green knight. And with those, you can typically very easily transition into the tree comp. Just pick up some burning trees and pick up more of whatever trees you got, and you can put something pretty powerful together. So I've really been liking APOC on the previous patch, and I wanted to see if with the nerf to trees, if you can still put something together just as good. It's not going to be what winds up happening in this video. This is more of a Dwarves APOC game, and it's going to be a little bit of Dwarves before we get to that APOC moment, and then we'll see what happens after that. But definitely an interesting look, especially because Dwarves aren't necessarily what you think about when you think about power. We're off to a really strong and really lucky start with this Humpty Dumpty surviving with 1 health from the sugar and spice that we cast on it, which I mostly cast just to tick down on Cinderella. Questing units are interesting ways to grab treasures when you're playing APOC because it can be difficult to get the triples. You're also like buying XP and you're doing all of this other different stuff that is APOC related, and then as soon as you hit 6, any pairs of things that you have are going to go away. So that, plus the fact that you are more heavily pursuing XP spells, means that you don't wind up getting as many treasures from triples on APOC. Typically, when I play APOC, I'll have 1 treasure from like a tier 2 unit. I feel like I almost always have like a rune stones. By the way, this combat also extremely lucky. We're getting some very nice hits here. And was there something I needed to talk about in that last one? Did I? Oh, that's right. Yeah. I cast a for glory instead of purchasing a second unit. I figured we had the Humpty Dumpty, and even if we lost the Humpty Dumpty in trying to win the fight, the for glory gets us a tier 3 unit and then also gets us a tick on Cindy. So I thought that was like an interesting way to play that turn. Should probably provide a little bit of commentary on the actual game here too. Gonna pick up a Polywoggle plus a Donkey for this one. I think that'll still make us reasonably powerful, and little did I know it's actually going to make us extremely powerful just from what my opponent has lined up on the board. But we've got the Humpty Dumpty, so that's kind of some current power from the board. The Donkey's also going to be strong for us on 3.0. and that allows us to speculate with the Polywoggle. I don't typically try to go too crazy with Polywoggles on APOC, though it seemed like a good enough place to pick one up. And you can see why this Donkey is going to be so good for us. My opponent has, what was that? 5 different 1 attack creatures, so pretty good stuff. And then the Donkey is able to dodge the egg attack even, so my opponent just spawns a bunch of stuff for us, and then we actually take out their egg without losing our Donkey or our own egg. So yeah, these combats are definitely just going really well for us. 45 health APOC going into 3.1. So really good stuff, and I do think Brave Princess on 3.1 is fine to pick up. There's some other interesting considerations here, like we could take the Spell Weaver before we purchase the Kidnap. We could also kind of look at the Wizard's Familiar, though you're not really trying to scale too much when you're playing Apocalypse, obviously. Though we do want to play at least 1 more spell because of the Cinderella, and when I see this Forbidden Fruit, I'm like, okay, is Forbidden Fruit, that could be our last spell. That's pretty reasonable. And then we also have this white plus this lucky. That could also be somewhat good. And I kind of get in my head, like, all of these questing units, like I said, are kind of an interesting angle on APOC, and that's basically what shifts me into dwarves this game. I said it was going to be a little bit of a dwarf APOC game, and we'll see what we can't make happen out of that. And looks like we are not going to get that Polywoggle Sleigh anytime soon, but how far can this egg carry us? Ooh, it's going to be close. We are going to tie the combat because of the egg, and then the mummy finishes the egg off. So this egg has done a lot of work for us. That's really good, and super happy about that. We steal from the kidnap a stag from my opponent, and then Forbidden Fruit gets us Ring of Regeneration as our treasure choice. Not super exciting, but can certainly like buy us some health and potentially let us do some strong stuff this game. I'm going to roll and then sell my golden chicken for lucky number 2. And yeah, now we're a little bit into completing Princess White. I'm going to move Donkey behind the stag, so that way Donkey is potentially being buffed a little bit in the combat. And then I'm going to cut this creeper as well and just play all of these units. Play my highest health unit above the stag too. That's always something I try to do, so that way potentially Cindy could attack and survive and then get attacked to allow the stag additional opportunity to attack. Obviously not going to happen here, and unfortunately our luck starts to run out. We take 12 damage against the Fates with a Horn of Olympia. Is that what it's called? Horn of Olympics? Horn of Olympus. Horn of Olympus, must be that, in their back row, pumping their whole team, and we also don't slay with the Brave Princess, unfortunately. A bunch of really interesting things going on in this combat. We've got the Lightning Dragon, and then we also have this Nutcracker and this Falling Stars. And I don't want to kill the Lightning Dragon, so probably just not going to play the Lightning Dragon this turn, nor purchase the other one, but again, maybe I could complete some quests before we wind up APOCing. So I'm going to pick up this Nutcracker, grab the Falling Stars, and see what we can do. We do see a doubly as well in the shop, and I'm not really trying to scale super hard, so I don't really need the Darkwood Creeper, but the doubly is actually a reasonable unit. We can either play it behind the stag or in front of the Fanny. Either one will do. And I'm also thinking, well, we could put this Nutcracker behind the stag as well. That could be kind of cool because that might help us get some additional triggers or something. But definitely pursuing a lot of angles in this game. And there's definitely a part of me that's like, okay, we completed the Cindy. Can we complete these other questing units? And want to see if I could do that, because that would be pretty sweet to do on an APOC game where you've got like this clock ticking, because once we hit level 6, we're not going to be able to complete any quests that we haven't already. They're going to go away and never come back. So kind of a silly game here too to start things off, and then we'll see what kind of happens in the back half of the game. But I thought this was a fun game to showcase off. And also, just for clarity, I think I said this yesterday, but this game took place before the game that I showcased yesterday. It's probably a confusing thing to do that. Oh, you know what? Nah, I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep that order. I'm like, I could actually just upload this one today. I'm recording this yesterday. This is way too much behind the scenes info. We pick up some XP, we pick up a greedy, and we slot the Lightning Dragon in there. And I'd love to find some more Falling Stars, but definitely some XP is really good too. But now that we've put the greedy in there, potentially get some more gold. We're not gonna be so lucky, but can we get the sleigh? We will get the sleigh. So only one more hit needed for Nutcracker, and only one more sleigh needed for the Brave Princess. Unfortunately, Cat's Call means we take a bunch of damage this turn, but we're still gaining some health with the Ring of Regeneration, and then we find Wish Upon a Star. So that is pretty sweet. That basically means that this turn is the turn that we are potentially going to APOC. Wish Upon a Star is always really, really awkward with APOC, because if we win this combat, we will immediately APOC. If we lose this combat, then we'll either APOC next shop if we find more XP, or we will APOC after the next combat. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just trying to see if I can purchase one more Dwarf. And I'm gonna find this Greedy. There's obviously no way I can purchase it this turn if I want to stay alive. So I do believe that I lock this Greedy. And it's a weird play. I think I am seeing like, okay, I could sell Fanny, Doubly, the Stag, and the Dragon, or something crazy if I just want to try to complete all of the quests. Again, a little bit of a silly game because I kind of made this questing sub-game for me, but let's see how well we can do. Can we get the Nutcracker and the Brave Princess? Does look like we're going to be losing this fight pretty badly. We're not going to be getting the Brave Princess, and we're also not going to be getting the Nutcracker. So kind of a bummer. 0 more chances for those, but we stay alive. So I guess that's a pretty good thing, all things considered. So now we are looking potentially to pick up a Dwarf that we can now use to grab a tier 3 treasure with Princess White. Though we're also on our APOC turn. So, oh wow, I grabbed the Sting. Oh, I grabbed the Sting. I forgot about that. I grabbed the Sting because of Brave Princess, and then I find the end. And I'm like, okay, yeah, let's just APOC. Let's just APOC. Enough messing around. I forgot I even grabbed that Sting. Oh, that is so silly. And then we'll end a tier 4 unit here just to gain 4 health. So now we've got a board full of tier 6 units, but unfortunately only 1 tree. So kind of awkward. And we do need to find a little bit more to make this board work. And then we find the Knighthood. We could Knighthood Good Boy. We could also Knighthood Jormungand, but I think, especially because you gotta realize right now, we are 3 XP up on the lobby. We purchased the Turkish Delight, then the Wish Upon a Star, and then we just purchased the End this turn. So, actually thinking there's 2 dwarves in this shop. We can pick them up and actually get a reasonably powerful turn out of them because we can put Tweedle on the Gumblegore and we can put Greedy on the Green Knight, and then all of these units are going to get plus 12, plus 12. Tweedle's going to come back as a 34-41. That's pretty good. So I just take this as my APOC turn. We're working with a 35 health, or sorry, 35 attack Hercules, which means it only needs 3 hits to give us a tier 6 treasure. So really close to that. We'll potentially grab it off of one of these Romeo or Juliet's coming up, and we do. So that's nice. Tier 6 treasure going into our next turn. And for our next turn, we are just going to, saying it like a magician or something, for my next trick, I'm just going to Knighthood this Greedy. I mean, that's what I locked the shop to be able to do, but I think that we are enough ahead of the rest of the lobby. It's a little bit of a bummer because we see the Singing Sword. We do also consider the Arc, but obviously that's a little bit awkward on APOC because we're not going to be able to activate it this turn. So let's just take something that we can activate this turn, which is going to be the Phoenix Feather, because the Arc is just going to be so hard. Also, in the end game of Dwarfs, I am going to consider it a little bit because there are some other Dwarves that we can pick up, but in the end game of Dwarfs, you really just want all the Lordies and all the Echo Woods that you can possibly find. Maybe you also throw in some, sorry, I'm blanking there. Maybe you also throw in some doublies. Was just thinking about what I'm doing here with the reordering, and then like, do I potentially want to sell my benched units and just pick up this Crafty, which will give +4/+4 to all of my dwarves. It's definitely a consideration, but I'm just going to save the Good Boy and the Storm King for gold so that I can roll for Echo Woods and Lordies. And the other thing that I'd be remiss if I did not point out is that we did have the Singing Sword. So kind of did make me want to consider just going trees again. But what was interesting here is I didn't really get to test what I wanted to test. What I wanted to test this game is, okay, Ashwood just got a nerf. with that nerf, can you still move into trees as easily on APOC? But we didn't get an Ashwood or an Echowood. We didn't even get a Robinwood. All we got is one Green Knight, and I just felt like we were too far away from putting all of this together. So I'm gonna grab an Echowood here and put that on the board, and that's really good. We also could sell 2 things and make another Hercules. I don't hate that. I know I did that in Saturday's video. I can't remember if I do that in this one. Maybe I do so later, but for right now, I'm just gonna keep rolling, and we see another Ashwood Elm here. A little bit awkward. Maybe at some point I should transition, and that's kind of the thing that I like. Every time it looks tempting, but also has a little bit of risk involved. And that's kind of what I'm like weighing back and forth the entire time throughout this game, and really made me think about just the concept overall of transitioning, and it kind of was the genesis for the Fates video that I put out yesterday. And there was even one more game that I played on Zelhua. It wasn't really that exciting. I think I even brought it up in the Fates video that I put out on Saturday, or put it on Sunday, sorry. Getting my days mixed up a little bit here, but yeah, I thought that the in this game, kind of interesting here, we're playing up against another Dwarfs player, but there's like a lot of opportunities that we had to transform into trees, and maybe at this point right now we're actually strong enough that our gold might be best spent on trees, because we are not losing this fight. This one isn't really even that close, despite my opponent stealing one of my best minions, and I'm not going to get too much stronger by rolling for Dwarf. So what I should potentially consider, it's a little bit like sunk cost, right? Because we've already knighthooded a Lordy. So part of me wants to stay the course, stay the Dwarves, but I should potentially look at what shows up as well, and definitely consider that too. I think here I'm potentially considering a Lance for the Sting spot plus Gumblegore. Okay, I like that. That gives us a tier 5 treasure for free. It's another way to kind of press a different type of advantage, maybe based off the treasure that I get from that. If you get like Mimic Chest, I think I do wind up getting Mimic Chest actually, but like here we've got the Burning Tree. Should we just be taking the Burning Tree? Maybe. And if I was playing this game now, I think that I would. But it's really tough, because you gotta look at the health total of everybody else in the lobby. You kind of have to say like, okay, am I gonna be more likely to win this game if I just kill the rest of this lobby quickly? And we actually get a little bit scammed here. I think that my game froze for a second there too. But okay, that's really interesting. We actually have to talk about that. So the monster book pigomorphs my Echowood, and it's probably why the game freezes here for a second, because this is a really weird thing. The Echowood is my Phoenix Feathered unit, but the monster book pigomorphs the Echowood, which then makes this Tweedle my highest attack unit. So what's actually going to happen here is the way that the game calculates the order, we actually do get an additional Tweedle. So that's really good for us, and potentially what actually keeps us alive here, considering our biggest unit just got scammed. So yeah, pretty nice stuff. This Tweedle and Echowood did a lot of work there, and we only have 13 health. So this was a really close one. We're going to wind up tying this one, so we don't get the spinning gold, but really, really interesting turn there. And now we're going to get a tier 5 treasure. That is going to be a Mimic Chest, for which we will discard our Ring of Regeneration. Definitely did a lot of work for us, though, this game. Definitely happy with that one. And now it looks like I'll be picking up another Tweedle, and then probably want to throw another Dwarf in there just to get the most out of Echowood. And now especially when the Echowood is getting Mimic Chest, Phoenix Feathered. So that's a lot of stats there too. We're also going to turn doubly into a triply, and then just roll for some more dwarves. What else are we looking for or working with here? I mean, really just more of the same stuff. Angry's always a consideration, but it's not really something I'm considering because it just costs too much, and we don't really have the treasures to make it work exactly, so not really going to go for it. Double Tweedle now is going to mean that Echo Wood is really, really big, and on a board like this where your opponent cannot scam your Echo Wood, that is going to be a pretty easy win. Even if they're Juliets, which it doesn't look like they have a duplicator or anything, but even if they're Juliets and all of their other stuff are somehow able to take Echo Wood down, we've got 2 more coming back. So this one is going to be a win and a kill onto Geppetto, and then we'll see what else we can do here with the remaining turns of this lobby. And if we count up everything that we've rolled past, what's interesting is like we're picking up any Echo Woods either way. So that's kind of like a nice synergy part of it. Our treasures aren't anything absolutely insane, but now we've rolled past 2 Ashwoods and 2 Burning Trees. So definitely at least something to keep in mind. We definitely could have had a whole front line of trees and then potentially had like Lance and Herc in there, or in some other capacity. Maybe we would have still had the Green Knight actually too. And then maybe, yeah, the Lancelot. And now we would have had a triple on Ashwood, though, you know, a lot of other stuff would have been going differently had we been spending all the gold on that. Maybe we wouldn't have the power to be winning all of these fights, but you take a look at the last fight, 99%. Some of these fights were close. We tied 2 fights ago when they monster book scammed our Echo Wood. Pretty low percentage on that one. Probably pretty similar, like, you know, 80% to win or something, or maybe even 99 again, as long as the scam spell, which they have to roll a scam spell, and then that scam spell has to roll onto the Echo Wood. Pretty low percentage there. So maybe we should have taken the time to transition a little bit, but basically what I was getting at, and I think I mostly said for the most part, is that like playing this game made me think about just how to view trees in the current patch, and we're strong enough right now that if we want to win the lobby, maybe trees are what we should be looking at. There's also something really awkward when you knighthood, and it always feels like when you knighthood like a lordy, sometimes then you'll never see another one again. And part of that is because when you knighthood something, you take all the other ones out of the pool, and you're actually making it more difficult for yourself to find those same knighthoods. This battle looked close, but in the end we Phoenix Feather Mimic Chested 100% to win. Like, not actually close. That's our 3rd, now 4th Burning Tree. Also, had we been picking up those Burning Trees and Ashwood Elms, they would have been less likely to show up in the shop, so there is that, but maybe we would have been able to put something a little bit sweeter together. We're going to be playing up against the Ghost here, and then we will either be in a Dwarves mirror match for the final game, or we'll be playing up against that Evella summon comp yet again. We're going to have to play down a unit here, or we can sell our golden chicken to pick up this lucky as we play against the Ghost. So I decided to just put the lucky in. Honestly, I feel like that one can go either way, but now we've got a Staff of the Old Toad to do some work for us on this last turn. Maybe we can pick up a Greedy or some more Tweedles, or potentially another Echo Wood or something. And the fact that there is another Dwarves player in this lobby, I think, is also potentially part of the fact that, or part of the reason, I should say, that we are not finding all of the Lordies that we'd like to. Though it might just be that we cut them off from ourselves. I don't remember if the Potion Master had any Dwarves or not. Awkwardly, we are going to get our Echo Wood Medusa'd there against the Ghost, but it's still not going to be a problem. We'll summon 2 doubly. So that's how Phoenix Feather works. If you weren't familiar with it, if your best unit gets scammed, there's 2 examples now of our best unit getting scammed, and then your next best unit, if another unit is still alive, will then be able to take that from you. There's another Ashwood Elm for us, and I was going to say, yeah, I think we see one more Burning Tree even before the game ends. But that's basically going to be it. I can mix-a-wizzle something to try to find something. Oh yeah, one more Burning Tree even. But that's going to be, not going to find anything else this turn, unfortunately. So, and I think I didn't mix-a-wizzle because I still had like enough cash to technically pick something else up. Kind of glad I picked up the Lucky last turn. Otherwise, I would have been a Dwarf short for this fight. But Mimic Chest plus Phoenix Feather is a strong series of treasures on Dwarves. I think it's one of the better treasure combinations that you can pick up on Dwarves, just because Dwarves makes some of the bigger Echo Woods around, and that allows you to basically get 3 Echo Woods instead of only having 1. So the staff not doing much for us. It actually would have just been better as the Sting, unfortunately, the Mimic Chested Sting. But my opponent has 6 Lordies. I'm not 4 Lordies, but no Echo Woods. So they also have the Mimic Chest plus Drac Saber, but no Echo Woods. I think is going to make stuff tough for them. We should be able to, I don't know, it's going to be close. We're going to get 2 Echo Woods here. One should, I mean, we only need 1 unit to survive, so I think we've got this. Yeah, it does wind up looking a little bit close, but we are going to take it in the end. Both of our Echo Woods surviving. There we go, and it is a Dwarves Mirror to end this Dwarves APOC game. That's the name of the hero. So interesting stuff, another 100%er there. Obviously, I didn't need to transition, and that is, I think, part of the desire typically to play Dwarfs, because if you can get that early Lordy, you can kind of just run the rest of the lobby into the ground. So maybe this was a good case for a time not to transition. All things considered, we did still win the game, but if the Potion Master Dwarves player was able to get a little bit luckier, grab an Echo Wood of their own, potentially some other treasures, we might have been in trouble. Potion Master, interestingly, I think can play Dwarves kind of well because they just have more chances to find Knighthood. So it's probably what my opponent did. They probably did not put together a triple of Lordy because they did not have a tier 6 treasure. They probably just found 2 Lordies and Knighthooded one of them. But hopefully that was fun for you guys, a little interesting look. We don't see too many Dwarves games recently, and let alone a Dwarves mirror match in the final. That's going to be it for this one. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'm NoLucksGiven. Peace.